So this is the real question, right? How does this all become real? We've got these big, lofty goals. So the way the GBF gets mobilized is through national and regional strategies. So governments translate the targets to policies, regulations, and reporting requirements. Businesses will feel the impact either directly in instances where reporting becomes mandatory, which is something we're seeing happen in the EU, and others will be impacted indirectly. So this is more the pressures from investors as expectations shift around changing business models to become nature positive or at least report on nature risks and opportunities. But the extent of impact for business will depend on sector and size, and some industries will need to adapt faster than others. So just to bring it to life a little bit, on the direct impacts, we can take the UK's biodiversity net gain policy as an example. So this is where any new real estate development must leave nature in a better state, with a 10% biodiversity gain maintained for 30 years. So for real estate, infrastructure and construction companies, this is really changing immediately and materially how they operate today. And there's also the reporting that we've touched on, right? So in the EU, they're leading on nature disclosures of risks and dependencies. And this is, again, for companies operating in these geographies, like direct impacts. And then just to bring some of the indirect impacts to life a little bit, the GBF is reshaping expectations. So for one, we've now got this common language and structure of nature-related targets. We're starting to think about what goals and metrics look like. And it's trickling down into things like investor decisions. We've seen a lot of adoption of this voluntary TNFD framework, which speaks to that. And investors are really starting to factor nature risk into decision making. You know, higher borrowing costs, lower investments, limited market access for their portfolios that aren't in alignment. So I hope that gives a bit of a sense. And then just to finish on how the impact of the GBF is not necessarily uniform across sectors. Some will feel impacts sooner than others. So agriculture, mining, infrastructure, there are already some supply chain rules, reporting requirements in place, and other sectors aren't so far behind.